On this episode, we're taking a break from Mickey ears and MagicBands to get a little weird in the best way possible in Austin, Texas. Today's July 4th, 2025, and this is episode 786 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts. Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey guys! Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic, and on TikTok at MSM Podcast.
Planning a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World can be overwhelming and at times just downright frustrating. But don't worry, because Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. Visit msmfriends.com to use this free service. Are you ready for your bucket list trip? Our trusted partner, MEI Travel, will handle the planning so you can focus on the memories. They offer free vacation planning services and have nearly 20 years of experience creating memorable vacations. Visit mainstmagic.com/travel for a fee-free, no-obligation quote today.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. Well, happy July 4th, everyone.
Yes. Happy July 4th. Stay safe. Don't blow anything up.
Uh-huh.
We had a question
Trivia,
last night.
were you
going to
go it?
Shoot,
do the same
what
thing.
was the answer? You weren't there for
Yes,
that
I
one.
was.
Oh, you were for the what state reports the
because-
least amount of firework-related injuries every year?
I said the answer.
Oh, that's right. You did.
like
and we
4 or
didn't,
5
yeah,
times.
we didn't put it down.
And nobody put it down.
Well, you did
They
show
s-
up late.
So, hey, man. It doesn't matter.
We said Alaska because our thought was we thought it was pretty sparsely populated.
Yeah.
It's cold.
Not
and
all the
it's
time.
Dark, what's dark like half the year? What do they have to celebrate? I'm kidding.
Anyways.
So we said Alaska.
And I said, thinking of the 50 states, and all of a sudden I was like, Hawaii.
Yeah.
And I said it a couple times, and nobody put it down, and the answer indeed was Hawaii.
It sure was. Yeah.
So,
I'd like to look up, because we were trying to go with reasoning. You know, we were thinking of what places were more populated. Where is it maybe illegal versus legal? Where, you know what I'm saying? And so that's how we came up with that. So I wonder, like, Hawaii, I wonder if there's, I don't know. I'd have to look up their firework legalities. Being on an island with all these natural resources, I could see that there aren't as many set off. Because that'd be the other thing. What is the ratio of fireworks set off per year to injury? You know
but
what
again,
I mean?
they're on an island. They
Right.
also have to get them.
True. But they get everything else.
All right, but still.
So, but
Anyways,
that was,
happy 4th
yeah,
of
happy
July,
4th of July.
everyone.
Where will we be?
Today, well, we are actually recording on Thursday as my day off per usual. And we are going to, as soon as we're done, head down to Disney World with Lucy and Caleb and hang out with them until Saturday, and then get our butts back here because I'm busy.
And sit on them is what I was
well,
thinking. As much as we
yeah,
can.
I mean,
There's a few things to be done.
I
but
got stuff to do
yeah,
because
there's
I
gonna
am
be some butt sitting.
busy until school starts,
Correct.
which is August 11th.
Correct. We are
So,
quite busy, so we'll relax some. But there's going to be
with
a
all that
relaxing
being
trip to
said,
Disney. So
yes,
let's go
that's
back
gonna be
though,
nice.
to last weekend that we're going to talk about, which was relaxing as well.
And I was going to say, so this episode, and beware, spoiler, we're not really talking about Disney today.
No.
We are going to talk about our other vacation that we had, which was Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
Where I have never been, but apparently I've been through because talking to Lucy and Caleb, I went to other places in Texas, and where I did go, they did say that you had to go through Austin to get to those places. So I said, because I asked my daddy, because my daddy, I was blessed enough to travel quite a few states in the United States.
Yeah. I went 15 years ago, maybe, for work. I was there for 3 days. Didn't get to see much. We were inside of, conference rooms most of the time. We had breakfast tacos once, and I think we ate a nice steak dinner. Other than that, didn't get to really see a lot of the city. But, we've always heard such wonderful things about Austin. I have. I mean, it's the music capital of the world. I absolutely love music. It is my dream to go to Austin City Limits one year. I don't know if it'll be next year. You know who's headlining, right?
No.
Sabrina Carpenter. But those tickets and stuff are insane. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so, you know, it's a place
we'd have to take the kids.
Oh, I know. It's a place that we would love to visit in general. You know, if we were putting out places on a map to go other than a Disney park and all. And then just about a year ago, little over a year ago, Lucy and Caleb, who you just heard on last episode and you've heard about plenty, decided to move there. Mm-hmm. And so they've been there for a year, and we knew we were going to come out and visit. And we thought we were going to visit probably fairly sooner, but then the Disneyland trip happened, and we were like, hey, we're going to see each other in Disneyland. That'll probably put off a trip to Austin maybe till next year. So, okay, that sounds great. And then Blue October announced kind of a special tour they were doing. It's a 30th anniversary tour from when they first started. They had a live album way back called Argue with a Tree. So they were basically going to go back through Texas where they came up, go through a lot of the original very small clubs that they came up in, and they were going to play that live album from their first 3 albums, basically, each of those nights. Mm-hmm. And they were going to close down this entire tour in Austin, Texas, at the biggest venue that they've ever played, that they've ever headlined, because they've certainly played festivals and such.
Yeah.
And there was going to be no opening band. It was going to be simply 3 hours of Blue October. So the first half was going to be their old stuff, and the second half was going to come into some of the newer stuff. So I saw that, and eventually I was like, you know what? That's something that at this point in my life I can't miss. So told Rhonda, let's go see it. Got our tickets. It was perfect. It's summer. You know, they're both educators, Lucy and Caleb, so they're off. And so we planned this trip to go out there from Thursday to Sunday. Mm-hmm. And we're just going to kind of just chat about it. Like, we don't have notes. We're going to kind of recap the weekend in the same way I think we would if, you know, we sat down and our friend said, hey, how was Austin? And we'd be like, this is how it was, right?
Yeah.
So where do you want to start?
Well, day one.
Day one. Let's start.
We're not going to start at day 2 and work backwards.
We could bounce all. We could do it like a Quentin Tarantino movie and just bounce all over the place. Yet again, the conversation we had last weekend. Nobody except you, me, Caleb, and Lucy would know that none of that information was chronologically accurate.
Let's start from the beginning.
Let's start
and the
from
flights,
the beginning, though.
Just like I talked about Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
We flew Southwest. We did go to Orlando like we did before for Disneyland, and flew out of there. And it was amazing. And both there to and from, there was enough seats that did not fill the entire plane. So me and Jeremy got to sit with a seat in between us and have lots of room.
Yeah. I even had an aisle row on the way.
Yes, you did.
And we were in the late A group in Southwest, you know, and it was like, dang, I'm never going to get that. When you see it open, it's like when I step foot on a plane and I'm, 40 people have already boarded or something, and I see the aisle seat still open.
You mean the exit seat?
The exit row still open against the window there, because on the one side of the Southwest planes, there's no seat in front of it, so I can stretch out and all. It's a dream come true for anybody over 6 foot. And when I see it, it's like seeing a unicorn, right? But as you get closer and closer, your anxiety builds because there's all these people in front of you, and you're just like, if that guy picks it, come on, don't pick it, don't pick it, don't pick it. And then when you get to that point, you're
that
like,
almost picked it because you started to go on, and I'm like, they can't sit there.
Under 15.
Yep.
And speaking of all of that, they should probably up that age. Would you want Lacey sitting in an exit row if things went bad? Probably not.
No.
Right? And that mostly has to do with age, not personality. I don't think a 15-year-old should be responsible for the lives of other people. So anyway, great flight there, direct. Have to say it again. I know we've mentioned we got the Southwest credit card. We were able to basically pay for our entire round trip flights to Disneyland. I had to buy a couple credits for about $100. And then for this trip, we were able to use a large majority of points to basically cover about one of our flights round trip.
Nice.
We don't go crazy with it. We don't chase points and all with different credit card companies. We have a Southwest Visa. We have a Disney Visa. We use them for the bills and monthly bills in the best way possible to hopefully earn points.
Yeah.
And so that's the reason we use it. And if you can responsibly handle a credit card, then take a look at that because it really can help, especially for those folks that got to fly into Disney World, And
100%.
So, look at that. So we landed in Austin. And first of all, it's one of the coolest airports around for me.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
sure.
it was early, right?
It was.
But as you walk through, like, there's stages set up because they have live music.
Yeah.
There's, and every little bar and restaurant just has that super Texas feel and that music feel. It's a very easily navigated airport, which I thought was really cool. And it's kind of like right there in the city. Like, one thing I loved about where we were in Austin, living where we live in St. Augustine, and our closest big city being Jacksonville.
Yeah.
If you're in the city of Jacksonville and you have to go to another place and it's on the other side, it can take you 30, 45 minutes or more because Jacksonville is the largest city in America land-wise, right? Mm-hmm. Austin feels so small. It feels like a neighborhood,
Yeah.
Well, and I know we didn't get to see a ton of it, but yeah.
Or if that.
Yeah. Amazing. Like, to get anywhere in that entire city, it felt like. It was so cool.
Yeah.
So Caleb picked us up and we headed to their apartment, which is just outside downtown in the heart of Austin. And we had to do a very Texas thing as soon as we arrived at their apartment. And what was that?
You wanted to eat tacos, breakfast tacos.
Breakfast tacos. We got them from Granny's Tacos. It's one of their favorite places.
Okay.
If you go to Texas, you have to have breakfast tacos. It really doesn't matter where you get them from. Before, I got them in a gas station. We walked in, and it was basically set up like, your Subway or Chipotle, but for tacos.
Yeah.
And so for breakfast, you went through. They said, corn, flour, you pick. Your protein, do you want like a beans or a potato? Do you want cheeses, all eggs, all these different things. And they're so good. So you just build your own breakfast tacos, and they're amazing, right?
They were good.
Yeah.
You can just eat Mexican breakfast, lunch,
I
or
can.
dinner
I can.
every single day.
Yeah.
I cannot.
They
not
were
good
to look at. Yeah, they're not good to look at, though.
No, but they were good. And
Yeah.
and then I don't know how long they were like quote unquote waiting for us.
Mm-hmm.
So that was surprising that they were still good. Does that make
I know.
sense?
Yeah, it does, because they were just wrapped and smudged in tinfoil.
Right.
I mean, the way breakfast tacos look, from most of the places I think you get them in Austin, it looks like somebody made it yesterday and put it in the bottom of their lunch bag and they forgot about it. Right? And then they ate it the next day.
That's true.
But it tastes so delicious still.
It was good. It was
So,
really good.
yeah.
I was impressed.
Yeah. So that was our, Thursday morning as we got in. And Lucy's quite a foodie like I am. So she had a lot of places laid out, that we wanted to eat at, that we wanted to do. Lucy's also much better planning than I am, where you don't kill everyone in your party. So we had a lot of moments that we got to chill and relax and just enjoy ourselves, which I know you and I really, really needed. Like, I'll never admit that I need it, but I do. And so it was super, super nice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just kind of hang around some places, and it was great.
Yeah. Well, we excuse me. We went shopping, and that's when I was like, I want to make a hat. I think, and I know they can be very expensive.
Cowboy hat.
I feel like that was obvious, but sure.
Well, it may not be. Remember, not
That's
everybody speaks
true.
Rhonda, sweetie.
That's true. Well, I'm in Austin, Texas. What kind of hat? You're not just gonna go get a regular hat. You're
But
gonna
they
get
had those too.
country.
You are going to get a country
Cowgirl.
cowboy,
Boy hat.
cow person hat, right?
So we went to Allen Boots too, and I mean it is just crazy. Like $600, $700, $800 for boots.
And row after row after row
Yeah.
after like
it-
everything really is bigger in Texas,
It was,
including the boot stores.
yeah, it was crazy. And then they had the Stetson hats and stuff, and I was just kind of like, I don't know, I wasn't pulled in by that, but I was like, all right, well, there was a Kendra Scott store, and then across from the Kendra Scott store, there was a Yellow Rose by Kendra Scott. And apparently this is more on the newer end of Kendra Scott. And it is not only jewelry and stuff, but it is some clothing and hats, and where you can make a hat.
Yeah. And this is their first store, the Yellow Rose store here in Austin, because it's across from their, that was their flagship store, I believe, or was it their first Kendra Scott in general that was across the street? I can't remember,
I don't remember
but
if
this
they
was their
said
first Yellow Rose,
Right.
and there are only very, very few of them so far. Correct?
I believe
there was.
so. I believe so.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a cool spot. I mean, for like even the fact that they had like really cool like Jelly Roll shirts and Willie Nelson and like, you know what I mean? Like they had these cool like kind of country and music and rock shirts and stuff that were just in these really cool designs. And I think the Kendra Scott stuff is nice, and I think it's beautiful. I mean, I like the stuff that they have at Disney Springs at that shop.
Right.
I mean, not for myself obviously, but for y'all. So yeah.
Yeah, so it was funny because I'll just go ahead and jump to where it's expensive.
Yeah.
And the hat alone, excuse me, was $200. So that's by itself.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked away to think about it.
Yeah. Well, I said you wanted to get the hat, and I was like, it's $200. Then you have to build it, and I was like, should you get it? Like, when are you going to wear it? Is that a really smart buy? And I was just like, look, don't get it today. We're here 2 more days. It's not far. Like my thought was, if she wakes up tomorrow and is like, I want the hat, then I'm like, let's go get the dang hat.
Yeah.
But in that moment, it was like, well, is this an impulse buy? I don't know. So we did walk away at that moment.
We did.
And then you didn't stop talking about it, which is perfect.
And then we did come back on the last day of staying with them, and then we were headed to the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I'm going to wear it to the concert because I had my cowgirl boots that I got from Bass Pro for only $55 that I am completely fine with. I did not feel like I wanted like some nice expensive boots, but anyways, it was a wonderful, amazing experience.
Yeah, let's talk
Dominique helped me, and I'm one of those that like it's like a tattoo artist. Like when I go to somebody, I mean, I'm kind of like a hairdresser too. Like some people go, well, what do you think? And I'm like, well, it depends on like, what do you want to do? And like, I kind of try to feel them a little bit, but then I want to let the artist kind of do their thing. So I was like, this is what he does. So I was like, all right. So it was awesome because he was like, well, just pick out what you pick out everything you want and we'll go from there.
He's like, don't match it up. He's like, don't worry about colors. Don't worry about anything. Grab things you like and then bring them to me. I'm like, all right.
All right. So of course, Lucy and Jeremy was helping me. I picked out like, cause I did want some more neutral, I think, colors so I could wear with almost anything.
Yeah.
Cause the hat was a tannish cream hat, I guess you call it. So it was super cool because I had a green and then I had a brown, and he put it on and I'm like, yeah, I don't think I like that. And then as soon as he put the brown, I was like, there it is. And that was a scarf that went first, and then a Kendra Scott silver chain, and then a horseshoe because it's lucky, and just because I love horses. And I mean, I used to do that a lot.
Dude, we're in Texas. Come on.
Yeah. So, and then the guitar for Jeremy.
Should I put in a cha-ching sound every time you mention something in the edit?
I mean, yeah.
Because that's what it was doing the whole time. But yeah.
And then at the end, he was like, what about feathers? And I'm like, I don't know. So he finds feathers. And then, I mean, he just designed my hat to where I was like, holy crap, I love this. Yeah. So
I got to say, this was one of the best experiences as far as these go that I think we've ever had. This was a Disney experience, which is funny. Yeah. Because he is a former Disney Cruise Line cast member.
That was really cool.
And he was no longer able to. We didn't get into too many details, but entertainment performer, because he said an injury, he couldn't do it any longer. But if he wasn't injured, he would still be doing it. It was his dream job. And now I can't remember the exact title he said. It was somewhere along the lines of like digital coordinator, and he works on displays in the shops. And it sounds like this yellow rose is kind of his baby a little bit, Yeah. And he said something about that he doesn't normally work that hat station, but I think maybe somebody was out and they told him today, hey, we need you to run the hat station. And he was like, great. I love it because he loves designing and creating. Yeah. And man, I mean,
and then he wasn't there when we first walked in.
He was not he was not the other day. No. So I think we got lucky finding him and all. And it was unbelievable. Like,
it was just all meant to be.
Yeah, I would put it up there with some of the best experiences that we've had at Disney. Because I can put it in the same vein as like, you're going to build a lightsaber.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or a droid. And the experience that revolves all around all that. Or even a bippity boppity boutique. that's the kind of attention and detail and everything that he gave us. Like, again, we were the only people in that entire store for all we knew when we were dealing with them. I was just so blown away. It was incredible.
It was amazing.
Like, even at the end, Lucy was like, yeah, I might have to come back and get a hat just for this. You know, so I could see her walking in every once in a while and being like, Dominique, nope, he's not even here. I'm out. You know what I mean? Like, she would probably go and hunt him down. It was that good.
Yeah, it was great. And so I go to pay for it, and everybody's probably wondering how expensive it got. But like I said, the hat was $200.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually like, all right, this is probably was rolling around in my brain that, and I was glad that it didn't go way over, but, it was $414 total.
Yeah.
I rounded up for some charity. There's always a charity.
Yep.
But yeah, so I was like, and then I wore it out, and I absolutely love it. Yeah. I'm excited because not only did I wear it to Blue October, and first of all, I didn't care, but it was funny because Lucy's like, oh, you'll probably see lots of people in them. I actually did not see a single girl wearing them.
A single one.
I saw a guy wearing a
pink one. We saw a guy in a pink one in that pink jersey.
He had a black one.
Oh, was it? Okay,
He had a pink jersey.
Oh, yeah, a pink jersey and then black hat. But and here's the thing. I just want to say,
I didn't care, and I loved it.
Oh, I know. And you look great in it.
I have I wore it to Blue October. I'm going to see Morgan Wallen here in Miami, and I'm going to wear it there.
Yep.
And then I'm going to see my brother and my parents in Montana.
Yep.
I'm going to wear it there.
You're thinking about taking the girls to ride horses when we go to Fort Wilderness in August. You might as well wear it riding a horse. Put a chin strap on it or something, though, so that thing doesn't fly off your head and have a horse trample it.
It wouldn't fly off my head.
Well, and I want to say, because I'm sure, it's funny the way that you look at things and the way that we look at, Disney's expensive. Okay, so is everything else, right?
Yes.
And it's real easy to look at that and go, you spent $414 on a hat? Are you insane? That's ridiculous. I got a lightsaber sitting over here that costs the exact same amount of money. You know what I mean? How many people come home from Disney every time with those types of souvenirs, but it just seems normal to them? So to me, that's nothing. You got a full experience. You got something you're actually going to keep and use.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, I love my lightsaber. It leans against the wall. I know a lot of people, might put them in stands and display them and all, but for the most part, it's not a very useful item. But it's still worth the money and the experience, and I felt the same way about this. And I told the girls, mostly Lacey, you work your butt off. So if you want to buy yourself something nice, you treat yourself. All right? That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I am not going to do that because I don't feel that I deserve it as much as you do.
Okay.
So there you go. All right. So that afternoon, we did... this is where you'll help me piece together that day, because we went back and we were at their apartment for a little bit and kind of chilled.
We went to lunch.
Yes, we did. That's right.
After we went shopping. So I messed us up by go ahead and talking about going to get my hat.
That's what threw me off.
After we went shopping, we we went shopping. We just looked around and everything. We didn't buy anything. They had this place called
Big Top Candy or whatever.
Yeah, we did buy candy.
Oh, it was so cool.
Saltwater taffy.
It had every candy I think you could think of for like the past 50 plus years. Like they had candy cigarettes.
Yeah, it was cool.
Like if you're
it was
our
really
age,
neat to see.
You grew up getting candy cigarettes from the ice cream truck. Like that was allowed. Can you imagine nowadays? Now, which one did you usually get? Were they the straight little sugar sticks, or did you get the ones that had the paper wrapper and bubble gum? And when you actually, they had sugar, like a sugar in them. And when you actually blew on them, the sugar came out and it looked like smoke.
No, I never.
And they sold that to kids.
No, I never got those. I think the ones were just candied like
Lucky Strike? No, Lucky Strike. I think they called them or something because Lucky Stripe was the cigarette brand.
Yeah, I don't know.
Blows me away.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could get candy cigarettes and candy syringes. No, I'm kidding. So anyway, continue.
Well, after we bought some candy from there, and like I said, just the saltwater taffy, we actually went to lunch after that. And
I had an
you
appetizer
can start
first.
Talking about lunch. I
had a slice of pizza. At home slice pizza.
Oh, okay.
Which at that moment we didn't realize was a diners, drive-ins, and dives place, which was pretty cool because we're going to talk about another one that we went to. But yeah, had a good New York style slice of pizza, grab and go. You guys were nice enough to just entertain me and say, hey, we can stop for 15 minutes so Jeremy can eat a slice of pizza. And I did. So thank you. Then we went on to lunch, right?
I mean, I think it was backwards. We went to lunch and I'm like, you're going to eat again? Like, I couldn't believe.
Man, I thought I ate it before lunch.
Anyways, the point is he ate a lot this weekend.
We split a lot.
But we did.
We did.
We did.
We
so
did really good.
We went to lunch at a barbecue place that actually had a Michelin star. My girlfriend asked me the other day if I had barbecue in Texas, and I was like, yeah. And then she was like, where? And I was like, I don't know, man, but it was a Michelin star. And she was like,
La Barbecue.
Well, she was like, oh my gosh, wow.
Yeah.
So.
A Michelin star. That is insane. You know, and as we talked about way back when we did that in Victoria and Albert's episode, you know, I think people think of like a Michelin star. It's got to be this high class, fancy, crazy, expensive restaurant. No, there's like 5 or something, you know, terms that they do it on. It has to do with like a quality. It has to do with the length of time that you've provided that quality. It has to do with personality of the chef. So it doesn't have to do with fanciness or expensiveness. It really has to go all about like quality, personality, and the way that they develop things and recipes. So this has 1 Michelin star, which is nuts. And the chef was there, which was really cool. So we got to meet her. Lucy had met her previously and kind of knew her a little bit. So it was just neat to shake the hand of a chef of a Michelin star restaurant.
You did?
Yes. Oh. To me, it was just awesome.
Well,
And then I was
you
just
love
like,
that kind of
well,
stuff.
and I was just like, oh, it's so cool. I love food. And like an idiot. She's probably like, oh my God. So we kind of let Lucy just order everything. So she ordered a big old plate of food.
Yep.
We got brisket. We got turkey. We got pulled pork, mac and cheese, bread, Wonder. Like this is the old school. They serve just slices of Wonder Bread. Plain
wasn't
Wonder
bread.
Bread.
It was the
you know what I mean.
potato like
It's the Martin's potato bread, but normally that's what I'm saying. A lot of these barbecues they just do straight white bread. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, I didn't know. I'm just telling people.
I think of it as the way that you.
'Cause I don't know things.
I think of the way everybody calls facial tissue Kleenex, right? Even if it's not. Kleenex is a brand. That was what my brain was just going with. Is that the Wonder Made to me depicts just a plain white bread. So that's where I was going. But we got coleslaw, which actually has like a little bit of Chipotle kick to it. Did you guys get like a potato salad? Because there's something I didn't eat, right? Potato salad.
It was very heavy on the mustard, and even Caleb, because only Caleb and I ate it. But he agreed it was very heavy on the mustardy part. So,
what did you think of your first Michelin star? Not only Texas barbecue, but Michelin star Texas barbecue. What'd you think of it?
all the meat was good, but that brisket was the best brisket I've ever had in my entire life. It was oh my God, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I even ate it Saturday night when we got back
From the concert.
cold.
3 days later, basically cold.
Yeah, I tried. Well, no, we had a microwave. I tried to heat it up a little bit, and I did, and it was still so freaking good.
Yeah.
But then you made me weird because you were all weird.
Well, I'm like, you can't. That's one of those things. Like, you can't heat up steak,
And then
because it'll overcook. So if you heat up brisket,
it still was good.
I know, but it's not going to be.
No,
as good.
you were like, it smells, and then you acted almost like you were going to be sick or something, and then I was like,
because when you're in an
made me
enclosed
nervous.
hotel room and the waft of 3-day-old barbecue hits you, it's not a bad smell. It's just a lot. It's pretty aggressive. That's all. Yeah, hands down, best brisket I've ever had. You know, I don't actually order brisket a lot of places because most of the times I've had it at places, it's not that great.
This was
This was the brisket you read about that you see on TV.
Yeah, 100%.
Unbelievable. The pulled pork was great, but to me, it was a pulled pork. It
Yeah.
was like every other pulled pork.
Yeah.
The turkey, though, I thought... Now, the brisket was outstanding. I think the turkey surprised me so much that it was my favorite. Like, you went to pick up... It was thin slice. You went to pick up a piece, and it just fell apart.
Yeah, you and
know?
Lucy loved it.
Oh, my... Like, it needed nothing.
To me, like, the turkey was great, don't get me wrong, but the brisket was just...
Yeah.
Surprised me
Wonderful.
and was amazing.
Yeah.
So
It was outstanding. I thought this place was so incredibly good.
mac and cheese was good.
Oh, mac and cheese was wonderful. Coleslaw had a nice little kick. At one point, I took a little piece of that bread and ripped it off. I put some pulled pork in it, put a little coleslaw in it, a little bit of their like vinegar barbecue sauce, and it was just absolutely fabulous. So highly, highly recommend La Barbecue. We basically rope dropped it. Well, we did rope drop it.
Well, and it's crazy because the way it happened was you're standing there, and then one group is let in at a time. So it can get hot. it was very interesting. I've never like witnessed something like that before, but it was really cool.
But again, for me, it's just like the places I see on TV.
Right.
You know, those are the when you go by a restaurant and there's a line around the corner, it's probably good.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't have a line just because they're only letting in one group at a time. It has a line because it's incredible.
Yeah.
So let's move on kind of then later in the day because we did end up going to one of their favorite bars that is literally across the street from them. Mm-hmm. First of all, I don't know about you, 25-year-old Jeremy was about as jealous as one could ever be because I would have given anything to live
where they did.
Exactly here when I was 20 to 25 years old, especially when Phil and I were playing music and all. Holy smokes.
Yeah, it was really cool, their apartment. When I visited Rita in Vegas, she ended up living in an apartment like this. And it's just, again, I've lived here my entire life. So being somewhere else and like that's where they live is really cool. And I'm like, again, yes, 25-year-old Rhonda is like, man, this would have been cool. Yeah,
because 25-year-old Jeremy lived in Baltimore City on the wrong side of the tracks, and that didn't fare so well. This is what he would have liked. So super cool. So we went to a place called The Liberty. It's right across from them, that they go to quite often. Literally, they walk down to it. And we got to meet some of their bartender friends there. This is a dive bar in every sense of the word. Like, this is my mecca. This is the type of place I love more than anything. And a lot of these places felt like Baltimore. Like, this was the type of place that Phil and I used to play music at. You know, on Tuesday night, they had an open mic or something, just say, and they had $5 or $2 probably then, like Pabst Blue Ribbon specials. And, and we'd go there every Tuesday night and play, and it looked like places just like this. So I walked in and I saw it, and I was like, oh, at that point, I don't think I really verbalized you. I was like, this is going to be tough. Yeah. Because those were the places I drank at, right? Phil and I went to, like, those come hand in hand.
Right.
And so it's like, oh, man. And Lucy had told me ahead of time, she was like, well, I talked to some bartenders and all, and, that we know, and we're trying to figure out, like, do they have some non-alcoholic beverages and stuff like that? And I sat and I was like, all right, let's see what they got and all. And they'd actually, the owner, one of the bartenders, I think, had actually brought in some non-alcoholic beverages because they knew we were coming, which was super duper cool. So I got kind of like a pre-mixed canned cocktail first, and then they had Heineken Zero as well.
Yes.
And so we were sitting there, we were playing pool, and I'm drinking a Heineken Zero, and I'm just kind of sitting in the corner. I was like, I was kind of down, and then I was like, you know what? Screw this. Like, why? Like, just we're here, we're having fun. This really is no different. This beer is no different than the other ones I used to have, but the outcome's going to be a heck of a lot better. Why am I going to sit here and throw myself a pity party? Let's have a good time. And I did. And it was amazing. And I absolutely had the best time there. And then we moved on to another spot.
Then we walked down to another place that they had, which was really cool because this was like I guess, call it a bar, of course, but like a brewery. Like, you walk brewery in and oh my God, it smelled amazing. I love the
smell of hops.
I do too.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
Anytime I ever took a brewing tour of something, I just love the way it smells when you're like cooking and working in the brewery.
It's like a, I don't know, it's kind of like a warm hug. It's just that smell. It is lovely. So this place is called Zilker. It's a brewery in Austin, and you will find their beers all over Austin in bars and restaurants and all.
Yeah.
And again, it is a brewery, but they basically, it's not really what I would call a tap house in the sense, because it is more like a bar compared to a tap house. You know what I mean? But it's this wonderful big indoor bar, and you can see the barrels and all, and they've got all their beers and stuff listed. And then outside, everywhere in Austin is outdoor. Basically. There's outdoor seating in almost everywhere you can go.
And dogs are allowed anywhere.
Everywhere.
Inside, outside, everywhere.
First of all, I am going to say this. You know what else is allowed everywhere there? Everyone. Which is really, really cool. Just to say. I have never... And that goes back to... Here's the thing. Even going in, it's the most welcoming city I've ever been to.
Yeah.
And even to the fact of somebody who's like sober... with a city that is built around music and bars and restaurants and drinking, every single place we went into had at least one non-alcoholic beer and usually multiple actual zero-proof cocktails. Not the fruit juices and the little cups with the characters on them, actual like handcrafted zero-proof cocktails. So it is the most welcoming place I've ever been. And that felt super cool. So dogs, people, come on in. You're welcome.
Yeah, it was great. So we sat inside at the bar. And then, so it's super cool because there's a lot of, there's just food. I feel like everywhere, like I feel like in little, almost like crevices.
Yeah.
And it was really cool because they had, and I feel like a lot of people, like little bars had partnerships too with things, which this one had, with
for
a
example,
food truck.
well, for example, real quick, so Zilker actually has a partnership for a beer that they create with La Barbecue.
Oh.
So they're partnering all over Austin, which again, it is just such a collective community. It's so cool.
Well, and then right next door they had a food truck, correct?
Yeah. Spicy Boys chicken.
And then they had you can order online, of course, but there was inside the bar, there was like this tablet of some sort, and it literally, you could order right there too. Cool. It was really cool.
It's cool.
But yeah, we got that, and that chicken tenders was probably the best chicken tenders I've had in a long time. Yeah. Like the sauce on it and everything. I don't know what it was.
They were more nugget sized, but
whatever. It was fantastic.
It was so good. Yeah, you could pick all these different sauces and things. It was, oh my God.
3 days later, I warmed that up and I ate it. It was
good.
Still
So
good.
yeah, check out Spicy Boys.
Yeah.
So Friday came around and Lucy had told me about this place called Barton Springs. And it is a natural spring. It's basically right down in the middle of Austin, downtown. I mean, you can literally see the Capitol building while you're in the spring. But what they've done is they've built it into a public park. Costs a couple bucks. I think like $8 an adult, $4 a kid or something to get in. And it's basically a giant rectangle spring that they've built concrete all around to contain it in a sense, with platforms all around. They've got stairs going in. They've got ladders going in. They've got a diving board. They have lifeguards. So it is the natural spring water. It is the natural spring bottom. So it's still very, very scary to me. But then it's, everything else kind of looks like a pool. There's one difference here, though, than the springs we're used to going into in Florida, which are freezing to us, right? At 72 degrees.
Yes, 72 degrees is a normal, is a Florida spring that it is. And when I said something to Lucy, she looked at me and she was like, it's colder. And I'm like, what?
4 degrees can't be that much of a difference, can it?
Yeah, so I just started to say, she did say, so she knew it was around 68, but yes, it can fluctuate apparently, and yes, I think the time, because we looked it up, that we were in it, was 68 degrees, and that's freaking cold.
It is very cold.
And she told me,
she got you a tube.
Well, she got me a tube, praise God, thank you so much, Lucy. But she was like, don't put your foot in, don't do anything. You just need to jump in. And I was, I basically was like, okay, so basically it's like the polar plunge when you jump into, it's like freezing outside and it's like whatever the degrees is, 60 degree water or whatever.
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah.
I jumped in.
How'd it feel?
Freezing.
Yeah,
it was stupid.
It is cold.
That is not something. I think if I lived there, I don't know. I don't know if my body could get used to something, but I don't think I would want to continue to go back.
I was in it. We were in it for probably close to an hour or so, and I had most of my whole body except basically my neck in it the whole time. And it really does. I mean, your body temperature in the water, whatever happens, you feel fine after a while.
Just gave me chills.
In fact, it's worse when part of your body goes out of the water and has to go back in. You know what I mean? So you're better just staying in it. To me, it wasn't the cold that bothered me as much as the murky, dark depths below me. Now, we did not see any animals in here, and Lucy said she's only seen like a little minnow or something. I don't think it's really fed from any area where a bunch of stuff's going to be in there,
springs
but still,
usually have. I've dove in springs. There's only little fish that there's not a ton of stuff in a spring.
But who doesn't care about that? My brain. And so I was a little on edge the whole time, but I was able to relax. And I will tell you this: I can't see myself ever doing an ice bath, but I see why people do them and the way it makes them feel. Because I did get out of that water and just felt good.
Yeah.
Like even if I had the tiniest ache or pain or weirdness in any part of my body, it's just so relaxing and it's such a nice release. And then we learned something very interesting. We won't dive into this. I just have talked about it because I think it's interesting. So in the city of Austin, and we did not know this, and Lucy and Caleb were going to keep this as a surprise. But
we didn't see
we didn't see
ton.
any. So then they had to tell us, and then we did. But
right.
Anyone, male, female, whatever it may be, can walk around in public spaces topless. And this is a public park, which means that anyone, both male and female, may come to this park topless. And it is a family park. So it is just interesting and a little bit, what? When you turn around and see a topless woman sitting on the edge and kids running in front of her. And that's mostly weird because that's the way that culture and media has built it to be weird.
Correct.
You know what I mean? It's not actually weird.
Right.
We all just are tend to believe it is because that's what everybody tells us. But because they tell us that,
right.
It still is something you don't expect to see.
Yeah.
So very, very interesting. Now, from my understanding, there isn't most places do not have a law stating that you can't go topless. Like technically you can, but I believe that there's something, I was reading something about it. There's something that those states can still implement. You know what I mean? And it's not like people are just walking around, you're not walking into Alan's boots and there's just topless people around. It's not like that. But anyway, if you decide to visit Barton Springs and you are unaware of this, it's just something for you to be aware of. But Barton Springs, it really was wonderful. Like, again, I would easily go back and take the temperatures. I would probably just have to get a floaty that makes me feel more confident with what lies beneath.
Well, I mean, we were in 9 feet of water.
Rhonda,
You couldn't even.
There's a movie where 2 people got trapped under the cover of a pool. Anything can happen. Okay.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Man. What was next? This is our Friday now.
Ooh,
We're
we
heading
went
straight
to
lunch.
yes, we went. I was excited for this because we were going to get burgers, and not only were we going to get burgers, but we were going to go get them from a diners, drive-ins, and dives place.
Yes.
And because Jeremy has watched it for years, and I love Guy Fieri, and we watched him win on our honeymoon, our wedding night, and then we left for our honeymoon the next day. So this was 19 years ago. I was super excited. And
It's called Casino
I
El
started to say,
Camino.
what is this called?
Yeah,
'Cause I don't remember.
Casino El Camino.
Yep.
The owner's nickname is Casino. And this is a place that I think, because anybody I mentioned it to, whether they were from Austin or whatever, they were like, oh, yeah, that place is great. The people from Austin know the place.
Yeah.
And it's packed.
It's a dive.
Yeah, it is straight up dive. This is divier than Liberty.
Yeah.
This is walls covered in punk stickers and stuff. There's horror B movies, also with topless women, playing on the TV. There's punk music. It's just 2 stories of just dive bar.
Super cool.
And you walk in there and you see everything from somebody covered head to toe in tattoos with gauges in their ears and just say a mohawk to a guy in a business suit who's there for a convention and stopped in for a great burger. You know what I mean? So again, everyone's welcome. It's a walk-up order window. So you go downstairs, you order, you give them your name, and they're going to call it out. You go back and grab your stuff. So we decided to split a burger.
Yes,
we got
did.
fries. Lucy and Caleb split a burger.
We split the burger that Guy.
Yeah, the Guy Fieri actually had. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so it's the Diablo burger. Comes with roasted serrano peppers. I think it had like some sort of maybe chipotle mayo or something. It's a spicy burger. And the roasted serranos that are on there are, it's a whole roasted serrano pepper just cut open and slapped on there. What did you think?
I thought it was fantastic. I really, really liked it. And it was nice that we split it because it was a very large burger.
Yes.
And I felt very good after.
Yes. Never once this weekend did I feel gross from eating too much.
Yeah.
Which was great.
Yeah, it was.
The patty was perfect. The toppings were perfect. It had just amount of the heat. Anyone out there, if you own a burger joint, can you please do something for me? Grill your bottom bun. This is the first time I had a burger like this where the bottom bun, by the time I went to take the first bite, wasn't just a soggy mess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was perfect. It stayed crispy the whole time. I absolutely loved this place, and I would recommend it to anybody.
So then after we had lunch, we needed some dessert, and we needed some ice cream because we haven't had any at this point. So Lucy took us to Lick, And basically that to me was like salt and or trying. I don't know if I should say trying to be like Salt and Straw because I don't know
Salt
who
and Straw's
was
trying to be like them.
right. I don't
We're
know
not sure
who
who
was
came
first.
Yeah.
But it was very, very Salt and Straw vibes. Completely.
Gourmet, interesting flavors.
Yep.
Right? They're using stuff like balsamic and lavenders and whatever's in it.
Yep.
So we got some ice cream.
We did, and we got it in a waffle cone. And it was really good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought this place was great.
You got a weird one to me, but I tasted it and it was good.
Yeah.
So
it was just like Salt and Straw. They take all these inventive flavors, but they somehow make them work. And what I love about this place and Salt and Straw, it's just such creamy ice cream. It's just so good.
Yeah.
Once it hits the lips, it's so good. So went back. We hung out at their place for a little bit because we had a dinner planned that evening.
like a nice dinner plan.
Yes.
So
again, it's right down the street from them. We went to a place first real quick called Daydream Believer. It was this little bar that didn't fit.
it was beautiful.
It was. But it did not fit at all.
No, but it
on
was
that street
super
and the other
cool.
places we went,
Yeah.
right?
Like the doors were windows, were floor to ceiling. Like it was really
It was very elegant. It was like an elegant
was so
vibe.
cool.
It felt very Linen Pants in the Hamptons to me. Just that
Yes.
elegant vibe, right?
I completely agree.
But again, they had some really great, inventive, zero-proof drinks.
Yeah, they did.
And so we got to sit there,
Yep.
and Lucy and Caleb got the cocktails that they love, and we got to enjoy some zero-proof cocktails that we ended up really loving. So then we moved right next door, basically, to a little upscale Mexican joint because, of course, there's a lot of Mexican influence in tacos and all that types of stuff in Texas. So we had to get some. It was a place called Suerte.
Yeah, it was really pretty.
It was just, to me, the inside reminded me of a nice sushi restaurant. The layout, and I don't know how to explain it other than picture a sushi restaurant in your mind, and then make it Mexican. That's all I got. But
yeah, it was very pretty. It was very, to me, elegant. I felt very nice and dressed up.
And Rachel, who was our server, is one of the best we have ever had.
Yeah, it
was
really cool.
Lights out, incredible.
Yeah.
We kind of decided, and we do this a lot of times with them, is we'll say, you know what, let's just order a whole bunch of stuff. It's what we did at La Barbecue, right?
Right.
We did it at Lamplight Lounge when we went back in Disneyland and all. And so we said, all right, here's kind of what we want. And we said, Lucy, you take control. You order. She ordered all this stuff, like 5, 6 something items. Everything from apps to different entrees, all kinds of good stuff. And Rachel basically was like, we didn't ask, but it was perfect. She was like, okay, she said, how about I pair some things up and I pace it for you?
Yeah.
And we're like, okay. And it was such a wonderful
so
experience.
great.
It wasn't 6 items on our table at once and we don't know where to start and stuff gets cold and whatever. It was, we're going to start you off with the guacamole and a chip that is the size of Jeremy's head, right?
Seriously.
Literally. They had chips the size of my head and you broke off the pieces.
Yeah,
Real
it was
thick.
crazy.
They were good.
It was good.
Best guacamole, hands down, I've ever had.
That was really
And I
good.
actually don't love guacamole. Like, I got to be in the mood for it. Amazing. Then next she was like, all right, I'll bring you out this item and this item because they kind of pair well together. We had some ceviche and then we had brisket tacos, right? She brought those out.
Brisket tacos were good. The ceviche was, there was something weird about it that I didn't love, but it wasn't awful. Like
me, and Lucy did not love it. It was the first time Lucy had ceviche. Now it did have snapper. It had shrimp. Snapper is very fishy for me. And that threw off everything. And I understand that's ceviche, but you look at the ceviche we had at Flower and Garden over in the Encante booth of whatever it is, and it was delicious, and it had fish in it, right?
Yeah.
This was just so fishy. Caleb enjoyed parts of it and the shrimp and all. Brisket tacos. So they were not only brisket tacos, they were confit Wagyu brisket tacos. I think people are just throwing Wagyu on anything. I don't know what the definition of it is anymore, but they're throwing it on everything.
Yeah.
I thought this was good, but I expected this to blow my socks off, and it didn't. And they put so much guacamole on it
See, I liked it.
that I ended up wiping it off because it masked the meat, almost like they were embarrassed of it. You know what I mean? But I will say this. Corn tortillas in Austin, Texas are the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
If you don't think you like corn tortillas, go to Texas. So we had that. And then next out, we had the duck carnitas, flautas, with a mole. And we got Lucy loves beets, right? So we got these beets. They're different colored beets with a green goddess dressing. No, that wasn't that. That was the peaches. I'm sorry. I think we got the peach. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We got peaches with feta, basil, and green goddess. We had these beets, and we had these
The beets were
duck
really
flautas.
spicy.
Yes, they were. And I, just like octopus, I found out I don't like beets. I just don't. I've given them a try. I just don't like them. Lucy loves them.
Yep.
And she loved this.
Yeah.
I don't care for green goddess dressing, but when I ate only peach, feta, and basil, holy smokes, we're doing that at home. It was so good. Did you like that?
Yeah, it was okay.
Did you like the green goddess dressing? I thought the green goddess didn't pair well.
I like a green goddess dressing, period.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Duck flautas, the carnitas duck flautas. How did you feel about those? They were two of them covered in mole sauce.
They were fine. Yeah. I think I was getting full at this point. I don't.
Yeah.
So I was slow.
I really enjoyed them. I kept, I don't like mole very much.
Yeah.
I liked the pumpkin one we had at Lamplight Lounge out in DCA, and I liked this one. I liked a small taste of this one. The duck inside was perfect.
Yeah.
Corn tortillas were great. Everything about it was good. I just took a little bit of the mole off, and this was probably my favorite savory meal of the night, or dish of the night. So there was a bachelor party next to it, or bachelorette party.
I just tried to say
then
this
there was another
the
bachelorette party.
This was the first time that I really saw
It was.
The people of like enjoying Austin and stuff, and it was so funny because. Not only were there two bachelorette, but I like looked around and I was like, there are so many women in here.
Holy moly.
Like,
that party was at least a dozen. And
yeah,
then the one that they sat and opened almost like that area with the curtains had to have been 18.
There was so many. And then
that table next was bought tequila shots for the 12 that was closest to us because
which is crazy.
They were excited about those, let me tell you.
Yeah.
There was a lot of woo-woos. Let's just say that part. But we kept seeing two desserts go by.
Yeah.
Right? So Rhonda asked for the dessert menu, right?
And there was a tres leches cake and then a choco taco.
A homemade choco taco.
And it was so good. Like, we should have gotten two of those choco tacos.
We should have gotten one each.
It's so good.
Tres leches was outstanding.
Oh, it was. I loved it.
I did too. Not all tres leches to me are great, but they're all good.
This was
great.
This was
fantastic.
wonderful.
Yeah. The choco taco
was the best ever.
Was one of the best desserts I've ever had.
I mean, holy crap. The ice cream inside, the cinnamon ice cream was good. It was just
whole peanuts on the outside,
so
crusting
good.
the chocolate.
So good.
Again, talk about growing up, in the 80s, early 90s, going to the ice cream truck, you get yourself some candy cigarettes and a choco taco, right?
Okay.
Oh, it was delicious. I loved it.
Yeah.
I would go back just for that. Overall, I loved the experience, obviously the company and most of the food. I think overall I was underwhelmed by the end of it based on it being this upscale Mexican joint. Like, I'd have been okay comparing it and just going to like somewhere we have here that is kind of your more standard hole in the wall. But I do think it's an experience worth trying. Yeah. Like, I will still tell my brother Alan next time he goes to Austin, which I know he is coming up here. Like, I would tell him to go there for sure.
Yeah.
Because he'll love the experience. He'll love, trying out all these different things and new takes on kind of classic Mexican cuisine. Right. So I really did enjoy that part. So Saturday rolled around. We stayed the first 2 nights there with Lucy and Caleb. And then Saturday night, because we were going to be out late Saturday night. It was just Ron and I going to the show. And Lucy and Caleb were getting up for a 5 a.m. flight on Sunday to fly to Disney World of all places.
Yep.
They've been there all week, and that's why we're going down to see them now for 2 nights. So I said, you know what? I got some points with Drury Inn, which we absolutely love, of course, at Disney Springs. They had one not far from the venue. Said, I can get a room. Let's just get a room for that night.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about coming in late and waking you up. And our flight wasn't until 9:30. We're like, you don't have to worry about waking us up when you get up at 3 a.m. Right. So I went ahead and did that. And we, Caleb took us over. We hung out that day and all. And we went to, let's talk first that morning. Sorry. At brunch.
Oh, yeah.
We went to get ahead of myself.
To Geraldine's?
Geraldine's, yeah. At the Van Zandt Hotel downtown.
Yep.
Super kind of upscale, fancy. Beautiful inside.
Yeah, it was.
Very, very elegant wine bar vibe type of thing. The ceilings were rounded almost like wine barrels with Edison lights. Just gorgeous.
Yeah, it was.
I think it was 11 a.m. coming in. A jazz band was setting up to play. So we went there. We started with some biscuits with honey butter and jam and some cinnamon rolls.
Oh my God.
How'd you like these?
Those were amazing. Yeah. So good.
Outstanding. I appreciated the cinnamon rolls. It was 4 of them, but they were small.
Yeah.
Like I appreciated it over just say Summer House's roll is outstanding, but that roll weighs 17 pounds. So this was a perfect size. It came with 2 biscuits split. So we basically cut those in half. Rhonda's very smart. So we each got a bottom half and a top half because the top half is the better half.
Yeah. And you took the top half and was going to give me the whole bottom half. And I said, can you cut it in half?
Listen. It was not on purpose. You know how they do muffin tops? They should make biscuit tops.
I'm sure
if they could create a biscuit where the top and the bottom is the top. Anyway, outstanding. They got the chiquiles, which they've had before, which is delicious. We tried it.
I tried it. It was really good.
Dude,
Again,
so
corn tortillas in
good.
Texas.
Oh, and then that salsa verde stuff and perfect. And we split the steak and eggs with chimichurri sauce. What'd you think? And potatoes.
They were great. It was really, really good. The whole thing, the bites, all of it. The steak.
It was outstanding. The steak was so good with that chimichurri. It reminded me, like I keep throwing it back a little bit to Disney. It reminded me of Garden Grill, where they do their steak and their chimichurri. This steak was definitely much better, but and Garden Grill's is still really good. The home fried potatoes were just mind-blowingly good. Eggs cooked perfectly. I thought it was just an absolute perfect brunch. I wouldn't change a thing about it.
Yeah.
So we went back now. We did hang at their house a little bit. It was time to
Then we recorded.
We recorded the episode. You heard the draft episode. I hope everybody enjoyed. We had an absolute blast doing that. It was so fun. And then Rhonda and I kind of made our way over to the brewery. Caleb dropped us off, and we got ready to head over to the concert at the Moody Amphitheater. This is part of Waterloo Park. It is this huge park that runs through kind of part of downtown Austin.
There's nothing to do around it.
There's nothing to do around it without going some distance, which we didn't want to go because even though Austin felt like such a safe city, but we still don't know where we are.
Right.
You know, and I'm used to Baltimore where one road is as nice as can be. You go over one block and you could get mugged. And then you go over another block and it's nice. And one more block, who knows?
Right.
So I'm used to that. So we didn't want to venture off, but there's Moody Amphitheater. There's a Moody Theater indoor concert venue that's bigger. There's a walkable park. Beautiful, right? And Moody Amphitheater is this 4,700 open air venue. Only thing that's covered is the stage. It can be all lawn general admission, or they'll set up actual folding chairs in rows throughout the main area with lawn in the back. It's one of my favorite places I've been now to see a show.
It was really cool.
And again, you're sitting there and you look around and it's the city of Austin around you.
Right.
Which is super duper cool. We'll talk about the show real quick because I do want to talk about that a little bit before we wrap up. I got to say, one thing that impressed me so much and made me love this venue was we were standing outside. It's hot. Before the doors open. And as they're getting ready to open the doors for security, they had security walking by saying, hey, it's hot. Take care of each other. There are giant free water barrels inside with cups. Stay hydrated. You know, do this, do this, do this. He said, if you see somebody or yourself that doesn't look right, throw your hand up. We will get to them immediately. It was one of the best run and like shows I've ever been to.
Really cool.
Everything about this was wonderful.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I think I've at least found with a band like Blue October is these types of bands, they're not the biggest bands in the world, you know? They've been playing for 30 years. They've been making a living, but most of the time they play clubs that are 2,000 to 3,000 people or less, right? They're not selling them all out. So a lot of these people that go to the shows are kind of family. You know, you get to know some of the people, you see the same people. And so it really does feel kind of like one big family, which is just super awesome. So they started at 7:45, a little bit after. Sun starts to set between 8:30 and 9, and they play for 3 hours straight.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. It was so cool because every couple songs they'd slow it down a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, they were making sure that everybody was okay. There was one point where Justin, the lead singer, who knew someone in the audience in the front, said, "Hey, you need to step out of here." You know, he said to whoever she was with, like, "You need to take her out. You're not falling out at my show." Like, it was really great. And it was just an absolutely unbelievable show.
I'm glad we had chairs because when he did slow it down, I was able to sit for a little bit.
I like the chairs though because even though we're going to stand, it still gives you your place.
Yeah.
You know, if you have to leave to go to the bathroom, you can come back and have your place, which you can't do in a general admission pit. What did you think overall of the concert? I know it wasn't your show in a sense.
I was there for you.
I know you were, and I appreciate that. But what did you think?
It was great. Yeah, it was really good. Like I said, like it was really neat because I could stand when I knew some songs and stuff, and then when we did slow it down or whatever, I did sit and just enjoyed it. So yeah,
it was cool, man. I mean, they played some of these songs on this whole little tour, but they're playing songs they haven't played in 20 years.
It was great.
They played songs. There's a song they have called Razorblade that all I've ever wanted is to hear it live, and they played it.
Yeah.
And so we're going to kind of close it out real quick because I do want to say this real quick because I know I put a post and a blog on our website, and I know I shared it out to some socials. This was day 475 of me being sober, and I'm just going to try and talk about this real quick, but it's with joy, which is a good thing. I've been in a real funk again lately, like past couple weeks, just a funk. Can't tell you why. I don't know. It's just kind of the feeling I wake up with every day. I haven't been able to pinpoint it, and it's just it stunk again. I was feeling this real dive again, right, in my sobriety. And this was day 475. And I was really excited about this show because a lot of these songs are, the songs that have helped me get through this. Not only before and leading up to deciding to become sober, but actually being sober now. And so I was a little worried because, these are the songs I still listen to in the car, and they're very emotional. They're hard to listen to, right? And they bring a lot of negative energy to me, but it's kind of one that I felt I needed. It sounds weird, I know. So anyway, I'm like, all right, these songs are going to be tough. And they were through the first half of the show. It was hard to hear some of these songs. They're very, very emotional for me. Then they played a song they have called The Worry List. And so this song is basically about, real quick, it's about Justin, who was an addict, drugs, alcohol, lost everything. He lost his daughter, Blue. He had told this story actually when they played it at House of Blues before. He said, he remembers the night that his parents showed up with the police and they took her away from him. And he lost custody. And he got sober and he got back on the straight and narrow and has full custody of her now. So they play this song, The Worry List, and again, I'm singing along, and it's hard to hear. It's hard to get through. And I'm like, the show was both giving me, I think, what I needed, but everything I probably didn't need at that point, honestly. And at the end of the show, he looked off stage and he said, "Blue, come on out." And she was there. Right?
That was so cool.
And
she's so pretty.
Yeah. I mean, literally, she's Kaylin's age. She's 17 years old. And she walked out and she gave him a hug and he gave her like a kiss on the head. And you could see like this redemption. And so I looked at it and that was the moment. Like, it was the moment I've been waiting 475 days for. It was clarity. Like, it finally came, and I was like, holy crap. And just like getting out of the Barton Springs, like, everything was gone. Aww. It was weird. Like, everything lifted, and I just felt like this, I don't know, this clarity and this peace. And it was, I was like, here's this dude, right? Like, he literally lost everything. I didn't lose everything. I got lucky.
Yeah, you did.
I was one drink away from losing everything.
Yeah.
Every day of my life for about 5 years, right? I was, here's the analogy I realized. You see the TikTok videos where they put rubber bands on a watermelon until it explodes? I was one rubber band away from exploding. And I looked at him and I was like, this guy lost it all. And here he is with his 17-year-old daughter that I have on stage in front of 4,700 people. And he's got her back and he did it. So, and he's happy. Why can't I? And earlier in the show, he said, they're singing these songs that were about when he was in his depths of addiction. These are heart-wrenching songs. And he sung them with like joy. Like, now they bring him power. They don't bring him sadness. Right. And so I was like, well, these are going to do the same thing for me. And at that moment, everything changed. All of it.
Wow.
And then there was one other moment. They played another song. I won't get into that one. It's on the blog if you go to our website. And I'll never forget this. This is going to stick with me forever because at the end of the show, you looked at me and you said, was it everything you wanted it to be? And I was like, it was everything I needed it to be.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping everything's going to be different going forward. Like, and the only reason I'm getting like emotional is out of joy. Like, this isn't sadness. I can't believe I'm finally here.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's just close with our Uber ride real quick. I'm going to let you tell a story on the way to the airport in the morning. Because not only did we have quite an interesting Uber driver, but she also had a co-passenger, didn't she?
She had a little puppy. It was a little 9-week. What? How many weeks? It was a puppy.
Yeah, it was.
It was so cute.
Yeah, it was right after you're allowed to get puppies, like 8 weeks. So probably right after that. Yeah.
It was a little dachshund.
Yeah,
It was so cute.
It was cute.
And it jumped in the back and let us
I held it.
Yeah,
It was just the
like
most-
pet her. It was super.
Well, we got and this lady was so cool, super California, which she told us
just
she was
started
from.
to say, yeah, and I think
I'm not sure if she is the type that wakes up and partakes in any sort of
she does.
salad, but she definitely sounded like it and acted like it. But she was wonderful. She was so. It was like the perfect way to end a trip.
Yeah,
Because we got out of the Uber, and it was a Tesla, and we're just walking away, and we just kind of both were like that was kind of awesome, right?
Yeah.
That was interesting, but that was
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, we had a great time. We, I think, realized that, we need to go some other places other than Disney and have some adventures outside of Disney.
It was a vacation. It was a true vacation.
It was. It was really fun. We
Yeah.
really, really enjoyed it. And
I think we both needed it a bit,
yeah,
right?
It was great. And but now on to back to Disney.
Back to Disney for another wonderful trip. We're doing 2 nights with Lucy and Caleb at Coronado.
Yep.
So you get to hear about that, kind of what we figured out, because we're still figuring it out. It hadn't happened yet. What we're going to do for the 4th celebration at Disney, other than stick ourselves in between mass amount of peoples to watch fireworks. We're going to try some other things. So we'll bring all of that to you on next episode. If you want to hear it, you got to hit subscribe, and you'll get those brand new episodes every single Tuesday and Friday. And of course, Rhonda and I, we'd be so super duper thankful if you could please leave us a rating and review.
Because it helps our show grow.
That's all we've got, and we'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.